Hi guys. So what I am going to talk about today, maybe it's a little bit of an unpopular opinion or maybe popular, but I don't think we talk about this enough, is that whenever a problem presents itself, whenever we don't really excel at something, whenever we make mistakes, I think we are too quick to come to a conclusion that because we have made a mistake or because we don't feel like doing anything or because we are, maybe not working to our fullest capacity, it is because of us. It is because of us being lazy, being careless, being procrastinators, being just not good and hard workers. However, I think the problem is deeper than that. Now, there are two schools of thoughts, and I know that, where one school of thought believes that motivation does not exist. If we just sit and keep on waiting for a force called motivation to show up, we might as well never start anything, because motivation doesn't exist, and it's not like one day you're going to get up and going to be super motivated. And of course, the other school of thought believes in motivation and says that once you're motivated, you will excel. However, I am not here to take the sides of either two schools. I am just going to ask you one question. Do you know what it feels like to be demotivated? Forget if you even believe in the presence of motivation or not. Do you know what it feels like to be demotivated and fatigued? I think any person who has worked for even a single day in their lives, they know the answer about what that feeling is. And I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why that feeling occurs to us. Please keep on watching. Just, take that guilt out of your shoulders a little bit, relax, bring a cup of tea and coffee, and let's delve deeper into your brain. So as I was saying, work ethic or a stronger work ethic is definitely something that our society appreciates. Since we were children, it has been drilled into our minds that we need to be hard-working people who, are up from the dawn till the dusk and working. Our corporate culture really boasts of and really encourages hustle culture and to the point of workaholism. However, if you're feeling demotivated, it could not only because you don't fit in the culture or basically you have forgotten everything that your father taught you about hard work. It could be because of these 5 reasons. Number 5, maybe you are intimidated by the amount of work or by the importance of that work or the enormity of that work that you are supposed to undertake. There is a physics concept called inertia, which basically is that, okay, I'm not trying to be technical, just hear me out. It's the first Newton's law of motion, which says that if an object is in rest, until and unless force is applied on that object will not come to motion. And if an object is in motion, if you don't apply force to that, it will not come to rest, which is true. You have to apply force to stop something or get it moving. I think motivation is sort of like that force. However, the first 5 minutes and the first step that you have to take for any kind of work are the most crucial. Once you have taken that, once you have overcome that lack of motivation, I think then you're able to concentrate on the task better. Then you come in the flow. Then you get into the flow, you get into the groove, the inertia starts and it takes care of the rest. However, what if you are not able to start that work? And what if you're not able to take that first step? Because you think it's so huge, because you think it's so important and it's just too cumbersome and you're just scared. It is human, it is completely human to get scared because of how important and enormous the impending task is. For example, I suck at admin work. If you tell me to sit for 10 hours and prepare for an exam, I will feel it less challenging than if I have to go to a government office and get anything done. Banks, I'm scared of them. To go to my office, to go to my school or colleges like accounts department or admin or academic section and get any formality done, not gonna do that. I almost lost on a lot of credits because I was just too paranoid to get them converted because it required a lot of red tape. And I hate red tape. And that's why, sometimes I feel like if an admin task presents itself, I really have to start pre-preparing myself for that. because I understand that it's not about me being lazy or careless. I hate admin tasks and I hate the red tape that's going to come after it, and I'm quite intimidated by it. So just sit and analyze if maybe you are intimidated by that work and not necessarily careless. Number second, maybe you are suffering through PTSD. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I am not a psychologist or a therapist. I'm a regular lawyer and I try and be a YouTuber/podcaster, whatever you call it. But the thing is, I have read about it, and I think we don't really have PTSD from war or abuse or any kind of sexual misconduct. I think we have PTSD from work as well. I'll give you an example. I have a PTSD from maths. When I was a student, my mother told me that maths is very, very a difficult subject. And I sort of grasped that, and I was struggling in maths. And my mother directed me to my father to learn maths. And he is a really strict person. He's great at mathematics. He's an engineer himself. But he would yell at me, okay, if I would not get a sum right or something. And every week I would go to him with my copy and book is shivering. And I would really dread him and dread the mathematics lesson. That really led to a PTSD for mathematics. Even when it's not my father teaching me, as soon as I see like a number and a numeric calculation or anything, I get scared. And the funny part about it all is that I never got really bad marks in maths to begin with. I was not bad at it. I can do really large arithmetic calculations on my fingertips. But as soon as somebody says, do this calculation, I feel like I'm again sitting in my drawing room trying to, say that this divided by this is this much. And my father is just looking at me and he's got really huge eyes and his eyes are like, get the answer right, get the answer right. And he's, that clock is on. And that clock is still on in my mind. And that led to like a lot of PTSD. So maybe, your boss scolded you for that particular reason. And now that, that work has come back to your table, you're scared because you got yelled at for that work, once in the past. What if you failed that test before and now that subject's test has come back into your life and you're scared to fail again, and it's completely okay. Which leads to my point number 3, which is maybe you're scared to fail. We all are. Success is a very subjective concept, and success is also like a fleeting concept. It's very hard to get a grasp of success. But if we don't get a grasp of success, it doesn't really mean that we are failing. Society and the way education system even is designed, it has led us to believe that there are only 2 outcomes of a situation: success or failure. You cannot be medium, you cannot be in middle, and you cannot define success by your own parameters. Success is something that society defines for you and gives you a definite set of rules, and if you are anywhere beyond that parameter, you are a failure. And people are very judgy and very hasty in marking people as failures. So maybe you are scared that what if this is such an important thing, but you are just scared of failure. For example, you want to change your job. For example, you want to take an initiative at your job. For example, you want to start, you want to go to med school or law school or something like that. But you are scared that what if these complicated things that seem complicated on the page and require a fresh start or require an initiative, what if I fail at that? What if I take a leap of faith and I fail at that and there's just too much at stake? And I get that. That fear of failure is real. I sometimes think that love marriage is sort of like that. Maybe it's a funny take, hear me out. In love marriage, you take your own decision. And what if you fail at that? You have nobody else to blame but yourself. And what if you think your entire family is going to blame you for that, especially if you have fought for that relationship? And that fear of failure is too much and too huge. And I think 90% of our initiatives get blocked because of this fear of failure. I don't have a solution for you, but I am saying that this fear of failure is very, very normal for you to experience, and it happens to the best of us. Most of us experience fear of failure before we are going to take a gigantic step in our lives. Number 4, anxiety. I think anxiety is a cruel beast. It's sort of like a termite that eats us. However, it's not as visible as termite, so you don't even know. You feel like you have just got some normal stress and normal tension. And especially if you're working in corporate culture, normal stress and normal tension is something that we brush off our shoulders and we're like, ye to hota hi rehta hai, this is a part and parcel of our jobs. Which is not true. I think we have got stressed out and tensed and completely, hyped up as a student and as a professional many a times, no matter what kind of career and what kind of education you have chosen to pursue in your life. And because we are so used to stress, we feel like anxiety is not real, and anxiety happens to everyone. But anxiety is something that's very much real, and it is a disorder. It's not a normal stress. It's much bigger than that. So what if you look at your work and you feel anxiety? You feel like as soon as I'll start this, I will open a Pandora box of problems and tension, and this is going to cause me a lot of stress. For example, I always feel like that whenever a new deal and new transaction is going to start. I am a second year associate, third year associate. It's not in my hand really to take that call whether a deal or transaction is going to start or not. However, whenever this does start, I feel like, oh my god, this is so enormous. How am I going to deal with this? I'll have to deal with it anyways. It's my superior's call. However, I do feel that kind of stress and I don't feel like working on it. And as soon as the deal starts, I sort of get into the groove of it and then I feel relaxed, and then it's me and my to-do list and we jam out and we do our work. It's just that once it's going to start, once it's on the point of starting, that anxiety really takes hold on me. And of course, while the transaction is ongoing, I'm not saying everything is completely hunky-dory. It never is. That anxiety does take double takes and come back. And if you are an anxious person and if you have recognized that you have perpetual anxiety, it's no wonder that you would expect anxiety to come. We all know how we are going to behave in a certain kind of situation. So maybe you're not taking the first step because you know that impending work is going to cause you a lot of anxiety. Number 5, and I think the one that has been neglected by us and the mankind from time immemorable, is emotional fatigue. What if you are going through emotional fatigue? I'm not delving into the argument of whether motivation exists or not or whatever. I am just saying that we often think that a mind and a body are two separate things. I understand if, for example, if you go and if you run 10 kilometers and you come back and you don't want to start a work, people understand that, right? Because maybe you're tired, that's why you don't want to work. But what if you're emotionally tired? What if you're emotionally just burnt out? Maybe what if you're just not in a happy place in your life? And that leads to a lot of emotional fatigue and frustration. And because of that, our focus really dwindles. And that tires us. Often we feel like we are super tired. Like for example, sometimes I just go and socialize a lot. And I am a very weird person. I'm an extrovert, thus also an introvert. And my social battery runs out really fast. I don't like clubbing and talking to a lot of people and this and that. But sometimes when I do that, I come back and I don't want to work. It's just because I am emotionally fatigued. I am done. I just want to sleep. I want to recharge myself. And we often go down this rabbit hole of not recognizing that maybe we are emotionally burnt out and our emotional fatigue is telling us that, listen, the battery is out, please recharge yourself, and then you start doing the work. Then you start taking initiative. And please, I think time has come that we recognize our mental health. We often feel like our mind needs to follow our body. Our body needs to follow the mind. And that always happens, whether you recognize it or not. So maybe you are just struggling with something mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And that's why that emotional fatigue is just holding you back from taking an initiative or starting a job. Think about it. I think it's quite relaxing and relieving to stop blaming ourselves and give us this room of making mistakes and give us this room of thinking that yes, our mental health might not be fine and maybe we need some help, maybe we need a break, maybe we need some rest, maybe it just takes a cup of coffee or talking to your favorite person in the world. Whatever it takes, give yourself that room. You're not lazy, you're just emotionally fatigued. So stop calling yourself names. Stop thinking that you're not taking the first step because you're procrastinating or you're lazy or you're careless. Human minds are so much more complicated than you think they are. Think about these 5 factors and I hope it brings you some peace and respite. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. I'm going to see you in my next one.